Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Bryan Turner Basketball Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. New year, new season. And before we jump off to things, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week, wonderful day, wonderful couple of hours. But yeah, just tune in for the next, you know, 30 minutes to an hour and kind of just chop it up with me. Appreciate your time. So before we get going, again, like and subscribe to the channel. Oh man, it's a great week to be inspired by coaches. Some of you guys are huge football fans, college football fans, NFL fans, but you cannot deny the power and the impact of Coach Prime, of what he's had over just college sports, man, just the culture, just in general, and it inspired me to just kind of take a step back and look at the whole coaching aspects of how important powerful leaders and powerful people are in the lives of young adults and in the lives of each other. So one thing you can't deny is that, man, uh, Coach Prime, Dion, man, is a powerful motivator. And I mean, he got his kids kind of, as quote unquote, it's like he says, believing. So, uh, like I said, it inspired me to kind of take a step back and kind of look on the impacts that I've had over the course of my coaching journey. And I'm actually up on the 10th year of a very special group that I used to coach at Gateway High School, the Gateway Jaguars. And so this episode is going to be a conversation with one of the point guards, one of the leaders, one of the seniors from that very special team, that very special group, Mr. Tyler Price. So we recorded this maybe a couple of days ago, but just check it out, man. Listen to the inspiration behind the message. Go on the journey with me. I posted some things in my Throwback Thursday of last week, kind of inspired in this whole conversation. So hope you guys like it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. And at the end of the day, hopefully you'll get inspired. So without further ado, check out the episode with Mr. Tyler Price of the Gateway Jaguars 2012-2013 season, point guard and
Don't
C.
know again, like we live in a microwave generation that every 2 years or every year, man, folks don't know about some of the greatness that kind of went on in the area or even went on throughout the PHL. So
Yeah,
I looked at my calendar, and you know how like those notifications come up about 5 years ago this happened, or 10 years ago this happened. So got some notifications, and it was just like, man, we were on the brink. I think it was what this coming up on like 9 years of, again, myself, my first stint at Gateway High School, was able to coach this young man at the age of what, 17, 18. How old was you when you came in Gateway?
17 going on 18. I turned 18 that year. I came in as a senior. So
Man,
turned
so
18
man,
year. Yeah,
been
man.
been been doing this many moons, and so I said, man, let me just do an episode, man. I'm always doing about the greats of the PHL. Man, let me honor some of the kids, man, that I coach who are, I mean, y'all on legendary status, because not any and everyone can say that they won the PHL, that they had an experience on, winning the district championship, advancing to the quarterfinals with a chance to go to
Got the
state.
sectionals. You got the sectionals. Real
Yeah,
close
got
to
the
this next one.
absolutely. So what I want to do is, and we'll see how many other guys we get that can kind of chime in, but just kind of let's just start with you. We got Tyler Price.
Yeah.
Let's kind of start with you as far as like your basketball journey. Where did it start? Where did you grow up, and how did you fall in love with the game?
Oh man, I started at a young age, man. You know what I mean? I started playing. I was playing Matthew Dickey when I was like, man, 12, 11, playing in Matthew Dickey. My father always kept me around the game. He was a coach for Metro. He started, I was young. He was even coaching before then with my older brother for just select teams, playing around just for fun. So I've always been around the game. I grew up around the Matthew Dickey system, the boys club, going to Herbert Hoover sometimes playing. So I've been playing all my life since the beginning, played in the PHL for 3 years, so basketball's been in my life forever.
Right. And so, and I don't know how, I mean, me and your pops talk all of the time again, man. Shout out to Coach Brown.
Yeah.
Man, he's been on a couple episodes. I forget which ones, but man, we got stories, man, that can kind of go back for ages. And one story that he always used to talk about is that your grandma was the reason for a lot of like the who's who throughout the PHL. And I told her like we gotta get her on the show.
A lot of people, man. A lot of people. So Albert Thomas, that's somebody that's big to me. I seen recently, and I used to work with. He used to have a basketball camp. I used to work with him. I got close with Albert, and Albert loves my grandma. If you know about Albert Thomas, you know the PHL, man. He was big time. So that was, my grandma had a big deal with a lot of that. She was a teacher in the system, so her daughters went to Sumner. She went to Sumner, so it was a big deal.
Yeah, because I think people don't really understand just like how tight-knit community as far as, I mean, it still goes on to this day. It's just kind of like on what side of the political angle or you are with the basketball scene. But St. Louis City had a tight-knit of people that, like you said, was responsible for a lot of the superstars that we know of as for, today's St. Louis greats that basically, were the movers and shakers throughout the city, because if you worked in an elementary school, you knew exactly who were the athletes and how they was going to progress coming up. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just seeing how that's coming along and what's going on now, because I work in the school system too, and I can see who's going to be athletes. Now I don't work in St. Louis public schools, but definitely seeing how that can go hand in hand and how she did a big deal with that when she was back in the school system working at PHL. So, and also just the basketball scene, man, it's always gonna get better. These kids are getting better, and we just got to keep improving, keep going to see them, and keep pushing wherever we can.
Right, because again, like you said, it starts off at molding kids at a young age, and like I was saying that in my little monologue that I did right before you hopped on, was that a lot of people they don't understand the part in kind of going through the adversity, and it's a bit of suffering that goes on along with trying to make it to be what we consider successful, whether if it's in the sports realm or in life. That you see so many times where you may see the end product, but you don't know what it took for that person to get to there. And
never know all of what they're doing.
Yeah, because they talk about the 10,000 hours, and who are you to say that this person didn't work for or got close to that 10,000 hours for them to have that success? We may just look or think like, man, that kid just fell out the sky and he's a stud. But it was, man, so talk about that you see, because I mean, you don't have to put your business out there as far as the district and the school and all that you're working, but what do you see nowadays from the kids and the youth coming up to where, or are there a lot of people encouraging them to keep going, or are there people around that?
I watched my dad, have his hand in that. I talk with him a lot about who's coming up, who's gonna be better, what it takes, So, a lot of these kids good. Like all these kids hoop, all these kids can shoot nowadays, man. But the ones that really put in that work gonna separate themselves no matter what. So that's always a part of it. When you put in that work, you're gonna separate yourself. Everybody good. Everybody can shoot nowadays, man. Everybody working, everybody getting drilled to death. If you really put in that work and keep drilling harder than everybody else, more time, you're gonna get there, man. So it's just about the work you put in. That's with everything. It ain't just basketball.
Right. And then I think too, though, it's up to us as gatekeepers of this great game to make sure that we keep the game at a level of being fun,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, man, kids are making grown decisions that they shouldn't have to make these decisions at 11 and 12 about what branding is and where you about to do this or NIL and all of that, because it's just like once, and I was always told this again, like once you start looking for monetary value when it comes to playing a sport or playing something, you already lost.
You lost.
And nowadays we see so much of that to where, like you talked about the drilling and you talked about the you talked about the training, which I mean, all of that stuff is good, but does that kid want to do that? Is that stuff
Do you even
fun
want
to them?
Like, do you even want it? You gotta want it more than the next person. You gotta want it. Your dad can't want it for you. You know what I mean? Your brother, you gotta want it. You know, so you see that. You know, you grow up and then you kind of see the path you want to really want it. The more you play, you see. So.
And I'm big too on just, you know, drilling a lot. I mean, that's cool, but again, we come up in the era of just playing, you know, testing out our creativity, and a lot of times it's you know, you never want to stifle someone's creativity when it comes to them doing things. Imagination, creativity, all those things play hand in hand with, I think, having success. And you know, we would have never known of a Barry Sanders to hit a spin move and to be able to do some of those things if he had a coach just on him about going straight up the gut. You gotta go straight up the middle. You gotta go straight up the middle. You know what I mean?
You gotta really not be to him. You gotta be yourself still along with it.
Yeah, like, you know, Barry Sanders used to run one direction on the left side, don't have nothing, and finna run all the way on the other side and about to hit a spin move on you. You know,
Barry Sanders a little before me. I didn't get a chance to really watch him like I watch football now.
Man. And see, I'm showing my age right now because I'm throwing.
I already know
Barry.
He's different though. I know he's different though. You gotta tell me.
Man.
The game.
So who's like the marquee running back, right? Do they even have running backs still in the NFL?
Yeah, they do. Running backs, man, that's tough. I hate to see it. Running backs losing their spunk, man. You know, part of the money, part of they taking all the hits. You know, they ain't gonna be as good later down the line. You know, I charge that to Le'Veon Bell, what he's doing, wanting all that money around that time. But that is what it is. But right now, the best running back. I mean, you want to go by yards, really. Last year, Josh Jacobs was probably the best dude. You know what I mean? Still, you got Derrick Henry. You still got Derrick Henry. Really, that's really the guy. Jonathan Taylor didn't play well last year. He was offensive player of the year 2 years ago.
Okay.
You know, so it's running backs, man. It's tough right now. Ain't no APs, ain't no Adrian Petersons right now.
Right.
You know?
So again, it's a lost arc, and again, you can chalk that up to, you know, all money. Of it. Again, I mean, it's money, but it's also too. I feel that, you know, with and I might probably have some football coaches that chime in on this, and so it's like, you know, having kids play football at a young age, and also too, even with basketball. Again, we were talking about in persevering and persevering through suffering and having patience and endurance, right? So what does that mean? That means that, you know, again, the finished product may not look like how it's looking right now, but do you have the patience to see them 15 years down the line? You know, I think a lot of times too that, you know, we get kids. Again, I mean, the sport is the sport. You know, playing sport. No, I mean, you can get hurt. You can do at any point. Somebody can, you know, twist their ankle real bad or do something like that. But cutting down on the risk of doing things until a certain age, because I never understood, you know, having kids play so many games in football, so many downs, then they get burnt out once they get to high school, whether if it's, you know, banged up, knee injuries, shoulder injuries,
or just don't want to play.
And then you got and folks get burnt out, don't want to play. And then it's like you get parents now that's like, oh no, my son would never play football, or they're waiting until junior year, senior year to let them play. What you say?
Try and get that exposure, maybe trying to play varsity or something like that, maybe.
Or we also see it. Or we also see it too, though, that football players, if you're just an athlete, you know, we've seen coaches get guys off the basketball court, or you know, you see a lot of guys that are the athletes play basketball and football, you know. But again, can you persevere? Can you have patience in the endurance to see things through? And I think a lot of times, man, we get parents, we get, you know, players, we get people that just, you know, want to just, you know, drill them, put it in them at an early age when, again, they don't love it. And then on the flip side, they get burnt out at a certain time frame, you know, to where we don't even see them make it through a career. You know, I think back in the days, I think I had a couple people on here. They said that, you know, in baseball season, we play baseball. Football season, we play football. Basketball season, we play basketball. Then some of the great athletes ran track.
Right.
You know, so it was a whole bunch of different ways to get the bag, or you didn't really know what you wanted to do until you got older, because, you know, you got folks body maturing at a certain age in different ways. But Again, we got Tyler Price on the podcast. Class of, is it 13 or 12?
13.
Class
Your
of 13.
Your first year at Gateway was my first year at Gateway.
All right. So again, class of 13. We got a 10-year anniversary of us winning the PHL. Had Tyler Price as my point guard, man, and I just want to go over a few numbers real quick, and I want you to just tell me what you thought of these games. What were some of the things that were kind of going through your head during the time, and then we'll look and see what kind of conversation that we can spark from this. So
2013 Gateway, that was one of the best years ever, man. Coming from Metro, that was.
So break it down. So again, all right, you came from Metro to Gateway. Metro, a smaller school, class 2 during the time, maybe around 200 kids, boys and girls. Known as an academic school. Coach Brown coached there. Your pops coached there. So let's talk about what was the conversation like? What was the transition like? Did you even know of anything going on at Gateway before you made that transition?
Nah, it was really, I didn't really have no choice. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't want to leave Metro. You know what I mean? That was something I wanted to go to and finish out, you know, and say I finished. You know, Metro was a true task academically. So I wanted to be able to say I could finish that. You know, I kind of left there not on my own terms. They made me leave, but my grades wasn't good enough. I did literally, they didn't have D's. I got 2 68s. And then 68 in the first semester. You can't get 3 F's and they put you out, and they didn't have D's. So I got 2 68s, I think, in a 65, and they put me out literally the day after finals. They like, can't come back. I was like, that's cool. All right. So I had choices to make, you know, right there. I knew I wasn't going back to Metro. You know, my dad told me, hey, if you're not going, I'm not going back. So he ended up, you know, I found out you was gonna be coaching at Gateway. You know, I was actually some talks with Soda and Tatum. And then even like just anywhere in the PHL, I had an option to go to. And it was really my background, knowing you personally, knowing my boy Jason, who was a junior on the team. I had been knowing Kenny since me and Kenny played together back when we was in 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade, around that time. I played with Drano when we was younger. So I played with Justin back when we was younger. So it was really an easy option, knowing who was gonna be there, who was coach, and my dad said he gonna come with me, you know, coach there too.
Man, you throwing out some straight hitters, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull up the some of the stats from that year. Hold on,
yeah. Feisty team, man, very feisty. Wasn't big. We ain't had wasn't nobody dunking. I don't think nobody dunked the whole year.
That's crazy. So I'm trying to see if I can put this up on the screen real quick, because man, this kind of interesting, man. We got. Now I look back on it, I think a lot of the scheduling that I did with you guys has been like my marquee scheduling, man, for my whole career, as far as trying to have games that mimicked or was very similar to that season. Because even right off the bat, I mean, we didn't overall, the record wasn't, you know,
great, no.
a record that, you know, folks will look at it and say, oh man, eyes, you know, are popping open because of that record. But at the same time, it was we were battle tested.
Yeah, very, very. And I saw how district was and how the route to sectionals and all that. I was like, man, we got a chance. Like, who we playing in Bayless, who our district was, I was like, man, we gonna win. We winning districts. I didn't see us losing at all. Not the same Mary. I'm sorry, not the same Marys in that time. We was not losing the same Marys when he was coaching. We wasn't losing none of them teams.
Hold on, I'm trying to. All right, so we got so we started the year, and I'm gonna try to see if I can share this with folks that might be watching this on screen. Let's do share screen. Boom. Right, let's see this. Can you see that?
Nah, I can't see it.
Sure. What about that?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, so here we go. All right, the Gateway STEM Jaguars in the year it was 2012, 2013. We kick off the year. Hold on, let's just look at this roster real quick, and shout out to all my guys that are on here. Tag somebody, man, in the video, in the comments, if you get a chance to see this. Yeah, man, we had some hitters
Good
out
team,
there.
man. Rest in peace to my boy Deion Criddle, man. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
Definitely that. Oh man, we was deep too. I remember some freshmen. We was deep team.
So let's hold on. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Playing me on my height, I wasn't 5'8". I was tall.
Was this accurate? Did all of these guys?
Yeah, I ain't gonna say we finished with all that. You know what I mean?
Right. At some point, somebody made an appearance. Maybe in the game or down the stretch.
That's pretty much everybody that initially, I guess, made it in the beginning.
2, 3, 4, 5,
that's about everybody
6,
that you moved.
7,
They weren't
8,
initially when started on varsity. They ended up on that team at some point.
Right, and so let's just get some clarity to that what we just saw. So I come in. I did a year at Beaumont, right, and they had announced that the school was going to close. I was doing an internship at Gateway during that time, and the opportunity came up that said, hey, we're looking for an AD, we're looking for a boys basketball coach, and I'm already in the building doing interning, and I'm like, finished the year as one of the top coaches, young coaches, and I was like, oh man, this a no-brainer.
That seemed like a oop right there.
Yeah, that I'm like, man, this is a no-brainer for me to be able to take over this program. So some of the first things that I had to do was, first of all, get blessing from the coach prior to let folks know no funny business. It's like it's an opportunity for me to come in to coach, and when regimes change, it's always kids that are still in the ear of the former coach, and it's already can start off being some dysfunction there at the beginning. So again, I'm coming in with a fresh pair of eyes. I told the powers that be that, look, this is the way that you handle it. We have a meeting before school let out, before everybody leave to go their separate ways, to announce that I'm the new head coach, because we can start hitting the ground running, doing open gym training, conditioning, all that good stuff that you guys, a team of that caliber that was coming back, deserve. You deserve a good coach that know what they're doing, that's gonna pour into you. And like I said, at the time, man, I'm fresh and young, newlywed, new child, new job, appetite for destruction. As far as we talk about, man, persevering.
I don't think you understand how much I learned from you though. From that, from what I think about I could do potentially, in my work experiences and doing that. I learned a lot from you during that time. A lot of watching stuff.
Yeah, no, and again, I always tell folks, man, I'm the tool. Like, just use me, just don't misuse me. You know what I mean? So that's how you got to look at things. So come into a situation, wanted to give everybody a clear slate of saying, like, look, everybody have an opportunity to play, but look, these are the expectations. I know what last coach promised you, but this is something totally different. I played at a high level, coached at a high level, been around the game, been around some greats, to where I'm like, look, this is the blueprint to do this if y'all, if you buy in. And it took a while for the buy-in to come around. So again, let's just look back at some of these games right off the bat. I feel like when we were around let's just bust open the schedule. So we play Highland, Mater Dei, Edwardsville. Decent games, not not eye-popping wins, but
we was in both of them first two games. I think that second one went to overtime, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah. So look, we got this game. Edwardsville, I think during that time, man, if we look at Edwardsville's schedule, or even Edwardsville during that time, team lost 3 games all year, 130 games.
Yeah, I get it. So we played them again later that year at home too. I remember that game, which was a much better game we played.
Absolutely, yeah. They only beat us by 20.
Yeah, much better game. It wasn't 20, it was like really 10 most of the time. I remember.
Right. So we got the McKinley win, which I remember because man, we was dripped out. I think we had all team shoes, and
that was
had a whole bunch of we looked like a squad.
Yeah, that was good.
The Northwest game. This was one that set
first home game.
First home game.
That was my first ever home game at Gateway. You know what I mean? So first home. Man,
And not to mention my first home game. I never played a home game in high school, so it was my first home game too. So man, the Madison Prep game. I think that game was lit. You know,
the best team. It was a good team too at the time.
Right. State caliber type of team. And then we ended up getting Soldan. I think this would kind of jump started us because we got Soldan at Soldan.
Yeah.
And I think they were coming off a state championship.
Yeah, coming off a different team, totally different team. Technically, if you want to do that, but it's like definitely came off state and not losing many PHL games in the last 4 or 5 years. Like not losing much in the PHL. So that was a big at Soldan. That was a big win.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It was on the road, so that was huge.
At Soldan.
I think this Miller game was just it was so much going on that day. Yeah, and I think that was like our first time, and at least my first time again playing a home game and playing with the atmosphere of a city rivalry, where again you don't know what's gonna pop off, regardless of what. I mean, at any point,
in a way,
could have got real.
If you we needed that because it was like thinking about it now, you got me reminiscing. We needed that because we was hoping to play them again later down after Sykeston. We was hoping to play them again. I think they lost to Normandy. We were Normandy to playing Sykeston.
Right. So we went further than them.
Yeah, we went. I think we lost at the same time. Like same time. I don't know. Or we went like one further, something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know if they won districts. I don't know.
Yeah. It was something crazy like that. So
we was hoping to play them again after that. We was missing a lot of people that first game. I remember that since I'm thinking about it. I think Kenny was hurt. He didn't play. I think that was Kenny's first game on varsity, something like that. Like it was a lot going on.
Yeah, and so then we get down to again we played the Pattonville, the Bayless, the Cardinal Ritter games. Again, all games that I felt like it's Christmas time. We were trying to experience again. I'm a young father, young coach, young husband, trying to do all of the Christmas stuff, and it was just it was a lot.
Man, I forgot we lost to Bayless the second.
Yeah,
I remember. I remember
that was crazy.
Yeah,
and then just
Kenny was hurt during that time too. He didn't play none of them games.
Then we get down to let me see. We got Sumner, we got Metro again. The Edwardsville game, the Vashon game was huge. Us being able to get that win.
Big game. That was on. I think it was their senior night too. That was a big win. Big game win.
Yeah, then because now we get down to the nitty gritty.
We beat Roosevelt in that game.
All right, so
we beat Roosevelt.
All right, so we got Roosevelt, so that needs to be updated then.
We beat Roosevelt.
Then we go into the Bishop DeBerg game.
Yeah.
And again, I just remember watching them. I think it was an early out game. St. Mary's played Bishop DeBerg, and I went and checked out the game, and I was like, man, this atmosphere is live. It's jumping, man. This is going to be a good game. And I think they were kind of under the impression that they were going to win the game too. And it got ugly for them.
You talking about the Berg game?
Yeah, I mean, all of these games got ugly for these guys. It was like y'all smell blood. Like it was.
Yeah, we beat the Berg, and I was like, St. Mary's was like, that was low key the night before I was watching. I low key was watching because you gave us the access to the huddle accounts and like to watch them. And I actually watched them play. Like, yo, what does he want to do when he wants to get out of trouble with it? Because they just had Josh, who was their best player, who was going to play college ball. I was just watching him, what he wanted to do, spin move. And a lot of that stuff, he just watching film worked. I learned that day, like watching people and seeing what they want to do, their tendencies, and that was a big win.
It was we were way over prepared in that game because I just think you guys, man, like I said, it was like, man, y'all smell blood. I'm like, man, do y'all know how close y'all are to doing something special? Like, and y'all finna go out here and let a person that, a one-man show do this to y'all. And I think we came out the gate, man, we hit so many threes. Man, we were D'ing up. When I shout out to Josh, man, when I see Josh, man, he always be like, man, y'all was on. And it was his junior year too.
Yeah, my boy James. I think James was on that team too. James had like 2 points.
James was on there. He stayed on me when I always used to bring it up. Like, James, man, boy, we locked you down, baby.
Yeah, that was a fun. That was a fun game for sure, man. That was a real fun game. Play hard, man. Hitting, diving on the floor, just like.
Oh man, just everything. But I think the most fun was again at the end being able to do something special where seeing y'all faces. And again, some people have goals to where you know some people, man, the state championship is the end all be all. But I think that night, that moment, man, it was so many memories that was captured in that gym.
Yeah.
To where it was just like, man, it was special. I just remember, man, holding my son, holding the trophy, man, holding everybody, hugging everybody. Like, man, we really did something special.
Definitely.
That again, we still talking about it to this day.
I agree. It was fun, man. Definitely was one of my most fun years, coming from where I came from. Definitely one of my most fun years in high school.
Right. So again, it's just, we giving flowers, man, to the class of 2013, the Gateway STEM Jaguars, man. We got Tyler Price in the building. Man, before we head out, man, let's tell everybody, man, what you working on, what you got cooking up, what's on the menu, man. Give folks some inspiration on what's going on with you.
Right now, I'm just in the mode of trying to change the narrative, man. People look at me and they don't think like, what, you a teacher? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm working to be a teacher. I work with special kids, kindergarten to second grade, and I'm a registered behavior technician. And that's just me working one-on-one with them and just pulling them out of class and working with them and doing day-by-day stuff. And sometimes I sub, but really, no, I'm working to be a special ed teacher, potentially seeing my goals, and I'm got my foot in a lot of doors trying to change the narrative, man. People don't look at a young black male and think you're a teacher. They think you out being negative, doing something else. So I'm just trying to change that narrative.
Right. And again, man, kids and people, man, you don't know how powerful that is to have young black men in certain positions, because, already off the bat, like you said, the narrative is, we were doing something negative, but, we have so much energy to give, especially if you get to know some of these guys that are doing some positive things. And I said this at the beginning of my monologue, like I want to start interviewing more positive kids, more positive people, and you don't have to really be an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the game kind of has transcended more ways than one, to where I had the Bryan Turner Basketball Podcast, but the basketball is just to get eyeballs on what we talking about.
Go to school for free, man.
And that's the goal. To where. We talk about, and then you hear the hot button topics, the generational wealth, people, folks passing down, the best thing you can do is not pass down debt to your child, and making sure that you can give them wisdom. I felt like some of the best things that I think I've ever did was making sure that my mom, stayed with my son for, all while he was born, growing up, because that mouth to ear wisdom, man, is priceless, and then once you get that wisdom, as far as knowledge to get passed down, and you give it to the next person, so to see you in a position where, for one, it's something positive, but you impact in the next generation, man, hats off to you, regardless of what area it's in. It's something that folks can just say, oh man, that's dope, so
hats off to you too, man. You showed me a way that you can be working at a school, man, wear Jordans, wear pennies and stuff.
Oh man, no, because I got it from the folks, man, that came before me. It's like, you never want to be, man, button up to the top and not being relatable. A lot of times it's just it's being relatable. It's did I hoop in my Jordans? Yeah, I used to hoop in my Jordans, but a lot of times those were tactics to bridge that gap. You know what I'm saying? To where, yeah, I'm not so far out of the loop of what y'all going through. Actually, I'm probably more hipper, because I'm at this age to where all of the stuff that y'all trying to do, I can actually do.
Goes a long way.
Provide.
Goes a long way, man. I've noticed it myself. It goes a long way.
Yeah, so it's like, man, and now it's about, okay, when you get my age, what are the people in their 60s? And they say, what are they doing? Right. What does the next stage look like? And so so that's what I'm all about, man. And so again, man, hats off to you, man, for I know, man, it was a long night. And for folks who chiming in, man, this might be an early morning for you. This might be a late afternoon for you, but man, we got this in. And this was on the hubbub. We talked about this a couple days ago, man. Was able to pull this off. So, man, thank you, man, for being able to jump on here. And
I appreciate you for asking me, man. For real, good talking.
And so I like to end with this. I say, make sure that you're grateful for every sunrise and thankful for every sunset. So
every day, man.
And again, man. So again, man, appreciate you.
Thank you,
man. Tell everybody I said hi, and then I'm gonna chop this up, man, and want you to blast it out for me.
Be safe, man. Be safe. I'll see you later. All right.
All right. Thanks.